Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rewatch Talk Live on a bright, sunny day on June 16th, 2023. Audiences kinda showed up to take in the Warner Brothers DC's latest superhero film, The Flash. Now, a few notes before we begin. Rewatch Talk Live is a weekly podcast that discusses a plethora of film, TV, and streaming media of all genres. Join our Facebook page, Rewatch Talk Live. There is a link in the description, if I remembered. To contact Rewatch Talk Live, the email is rtalklive@yahoo.com. For more great podcasts, check out NDB Media on YouTube and Facebook. The link is in the description, if I remembered. The Flash had a budget of 200 to 220 million. The box office was 270.6 million. Even if you use the low end of 200 mil, 271 mil, BO is BO. The majority of the audiences left the theater wishing they could use the Speed Force to go back and unwatch The Flash. To be fair, The Flash did have mixed reviews. The reviews range from the best superhero movie of all time to the crappiest superhero film, and everything in between. However, reviews don't pay the bills. Maybe Flash needed appearances from Oppenheimer and Barbie in the Speed Force. Hello, my name is Richard, and joining me is Liz. We will be your hosts at this moment. We don't know if anyone else is going to join us, but we will be going over Flash, the movie, which came out earlier this year and is now, I don't think is it available on streaming yet, Liz? I mean, pay? I can't remember.
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I know it's on streaming.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah, it's on that. Whatever. But anyway, so Liz, what were your first impressions of this movie after you watched it?
You really want to go there this soon? Okay.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
No.
Let's start with this.
That's not.
I want to start with this first because I wanted to. Now, I know people that watch the CW series, and they kept saying, "Why can they do this? They do the TV effects, and it doesn't cost that much. So why does it cost so much in the movie? Like saying that the TV effects are as good as a TV movie. I mean, the movie and the TV. What was I saying here? They say that the TV effects are as good as the movie effects, but once you watch The Flash, you're going to see that the movie effects blow away the CW effects for the Flash.
Oh, definitely.
So,
definitely. The effects go. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
The effects go. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
even the storyline. I have to say, okay, I have my personal issues with some particular things with the show.
Okay.
One is the actor. However, I will say this much. The storyline wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't the world's greatest, and you definitely didn't want to use, the Speed Force to get out of it. But it was the middle of the road. It certainly was not the best, even if the actors were all, top tier, wonderful actors. The storyline wasn't up there, but the storyline wasn't bad.
I agree with you. And I'm just, like, I want to start with, like I said, I want to start with the festival. And you see the Flash running through, Central City to Gotham, and even when he's at the building saving babies and dogs flying out the window, and your favorite, putting babies in the microwave. So
yes, definitely babies in the microwave and the ding. That and the dog. The dog was like, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Now, my question is, since you brought up the ding, would a microwave ding when it's unplugged?
No.
Or would it be a malfunction just sitting there and just kind of ding from all? I don't know. To me, it just seemed like it's not plugged in, but it dinged. I understand they wanted to go for the comedy bit for it there, and the actress that played the nurse and her facial expressions of screaming was wonderful.
Yes,
you
it
know,
was.
she was really into it. And well, all the effects were Batman going, at the beginning, going through the city, chasing the gangster, uh, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Well, this was the Ben Affleck Batman. We got to make sure everyone knows what Batman we're talking
You
about here.
correct. Which Batman are we referring to at that moment in time?
So it was Ben Affleck. So he was the one that had his motorcycle and all the good stuff going on. And so the effects I just wanted to bring that they were awesome. I guess they should be for a film that cost $200 or $220 million. And they had all those stars. But I just think we've discussed this before, Liz. I think the days of spending big budget like that and trying to make a profit may be over for some of these superhero movies. What are your thoughts?
I think so. No, I agree with you. There's so many other options that we can do, and there's a lot of shows that are big releases that are being released both in the theaters and simultaneously streaming.
Yeah.
So I think even though the theaters are going, bigger and badder, especially since they reopened for COVID, and some of them were doing it even prior COVID, starting to undergo some of the process, of these huge, almost like bed couches, that heat and vibrate. And it's like, no, I just want to go to the theater, see my movie, have my soda and popcorn, and leave me the hell alone. If you put all that out, you may as well take me out to a lobster dinner. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, where's my pillow and blanket? I'll take a nap. I don't know, but you're right. Go ahead, Liz.
No, I was going to say, yeah, you do a pillow and blanket. Who cares about the movie? You'll be sound asleep with all that comfort supposedly going on.
Yeah,
it's like,
and if they're trying to make
you're going to do that, I'd rather stay home and stream it. Sorry.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean, they're trying to make you feel like you're in your living room streaming the movie. Right? And it's a bigger screen in the movie and in the movie theater, but if I want, I don't mind if they.
Yeah, some people. I have a 90-inch, so hey, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Stop your bragging.
Hey, I thought you had a 90-inch too.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get off track again. Whoa. So anyway, I'm just thinking that I don't think I just think that the pandemic ruined everything, and plus now they want you to pick your seat. You just can't get a ticket and go walk in and sit down anywhere. You gotta do everything. You have to reserve a seat, and then you got to sit down, and then you got to play with buttons. I don't mind if they lean back.
Yeah, it's too much of a hassle.
Then I don't mind if you can sit back a little bit, but gee, you don't need a full, lazy boy effect. But anyway, I'm just saying that it just seems like I don't know how the theaters are doing because they're in there for a run and then they'll stream not that long after they leave the theater.
I know. So, even if they don't do a simultaneous release of the show on both streaming and the theater like the same day, because like I said, some of them do, it's streaming, out fairly quickly within, 30 days to 60 days, even sometimes quicker.
You're right. And then they come on, and then they want you to buy it or rent it when it starts streaming. And then you're like, well, I'll just wait 2 more weeks and it'll be free. So,
and here's the thing: if they want you to rent it to stream, you're paying, even though the theater prices are astronomical, you're paying even more for a showing of it to stream, just to rent.
Right.
Why not? If you want to see it, just save it to buy. And now you have it permanently instead of, oh, gee, I have the family coming over. Let's go ahead and spend another $25-$30, renting it. Yeah. When I've already bought it and we can just stream it and watch it as many times as we want.
And depending on the movie, you could wait until 3 months when the DVD is half price. So, depends
exactly.
On and it's like I said, it's free about a month later. So, and then like you were saying, just to rent it is costing like $20. And
more than that, actually.
What's that?
I said more than that, actually.
Well, some it all depends. They all have a different range. I've seen them at 20, and I've seen them
True.
higher. Because I remember you
True,
could
true.
rent. I mean, the price used to be you rent them for $5.99 or whatever, but now they're right off. But I guess when they're coming right off, hot off the projector, or whatever they use these days. So it doesn't make any sense to rent them for that much when you. Depends on you how soon you want to see it, and they're probably charging
Yeah.
you $20 in case you have more than you just watching it. Well, he's going to have people over there, so we got to make sure we get paid for them too. So I imagine.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just the way that's the new world for the theaters now, and I don't know if the theaters make money now. I don't know how many people go to a theater since nothing's making that much money. I'm not saying nobody goes. I'm just saying I don't know how it works. I mean, I haven't been to one since the pandemic. I should go to a theater to check it out, but so maybe I will. I've been thinking about it. So
Here's the thing, and it pertains to the Flash. I know that my brother-in-law and my sister went to see it when it was still in the theaters, and they walked out because they said it was that bad in the theater. So, like I said, viewpoints vary from person to person, but between what they had to pay to get in, and like I said, with these huge, reclining seats and everything else, they were just like, if we were going to watch it, we'd rather just stayed home. And I don't think the theaters are making the money. And now we have the writer's strike and the actor's strike on top of it. So we're not getting any more releases coming out, for months anyway.
no.
So they're even going to be hurting more.
Yeah. Well, the theaters that I go to are nice on the inside. I mean, they do have those cushy seats, but still, it's a nice, clean theater, and it's not a bad experience. And since I can go,
I miss the days of having the discount theaters that we used to go to.
Oh yeah.
Where after everything had run, and it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's go see second, third run. Yeah. Those were awesome. At least in my area, they were clean. They were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
when they had these theaters, and there was one in Akron that we went to, and they had like, what was it, $1.50 popcorn?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, okay, that was worth the price of admission alone. $1, cheap snacks, but then eventually, I mean,
we've always snuck in our own.
Well, I'm just saying, compared to what it costs you at a regular theater to get popcorn and all that stuff that costs more than your tickets do, So
yeah, what I used to do with the kids
I do probably bring in something, but I usually buy something at the concession because, I like the popcorn. I like the theater popcorn, so I may smuggle in a drink.
Well, that's where they're making their money. The theater's making their money on the concessions. Yeah, but like when I used to go to movies with my daughter, she might not want to sit and watch the same movie that her dad and I are watching. So I would get the large popcorn that had the refill, and I would pour in, in one of the trays, a huge amount, and she would go into her own theater and watch what she wanted. Like I said, she's more into horror and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like she'd be off doing that, and we'd be off doing something else. And it was more, we snuck in the other snacks like candies and stuff. But yeah.
So, Flash.
Yes.
We're done with our economic lessons for today. Let's see. So, I guess the Flash, I liked, for the most part, I liked it, but it was just so soon after the Flashpoint on the TV series. And it just.
And if you notice, it followed it, though. It was almost the same storyline, but written differently, which I kind of did not like.
Well, I'm just saying that's why I said it was soon after. I didn't say it was, I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing did start filming in 2018, and it took it 5 years to hit the theaters because
probably
of strange things going on there. But so I'm just it's just weird. I mean, the thing is, I guess the thing is that I liked about I didn't like about this is that we just saw skipping way ahead into the Speed Force. We just got to see the different versions of the characters, whereas in the CW version, when a different Superman or somebody showed up, we got to spend time with them a little bit. It might be 3 minutes, but it was 3 minutes talking to him and getting to know the character. I mean, Tom Welling didn't last. He was only he only showed up for a few minutes, but we got the gist of things, right? We didn't need
Oh yeah.
and whatever else and the different flashes and whatnot. But this one, we just saw CGI or actual characters from other movies, and it was cool to see them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could have done without Nicolas Cage's Superman, but he had a dream to be Superman.
I think the entire world could.
So now he's happy. He got to play Superman for a few seconds.
But here's the thing: if they were going to do that, I had wished they had incorporated all of the Supermen, and they didn't. They only took the movie version.
Well,
and that's not really fair because when the WB did the whole thing with the Flash, they actually incorporated both television and movie.
Right. But there were some other Superman missed. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't put a Superman in this movie. I mean, I don't know. That's not that here nor there. But did they show Cavill and the other guy as Superman in the Speed Force? I don't think. I mean, I might have missed it.
I don't remember Cavill. I'm trying to think. I know I did not see, which I was looking for, Dean Cain. It's not in it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's crappy, isn't it?
And that's it. Yeah. Brandon Roth, I don't think I saw either.
That's what I meant. Him and because, I mean, they both, him and Cavill both played versions of the movie version of him. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Unless they didn't want to be in it or they're still, were trying to get away from it. They couldn't make up their mind who they wanted to be another Superman, so maybe that got in the way too. So.
Cavill was in it. Henry Cavill was in it.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I did. I must have missed it. My bad. So, once again, Batman. Flash is talking to Bruce about going back in time and getting his parents.
And actually, that's one thing. Didn't want to interrupt you so much, but in a way, you just kind of did a Freudian slip that I was actually going to mention. Was this movie really The Flash, or was it really a Batman movie?
Well, that's what I was thinking too, because.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking. I mean, you could have just. I mean, in a way, you could have just called this Batman and Flash, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
With Supergirl, so
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, and I think and they, but anyway, I mean, they had all these Batmans, and I think Batman, and I think they were hoping that these would carry the movie even further than just Ezra Miller, who kept getting in trouble all the time. And I don't want to get into his trouble.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to do that. I'm just
we're not gonna do that, but
we'll be here all night talking, discussing that kind of what he was up to. But right off the bat, we know that Flash, that Barry Allen's in a hurry to get his special sandwich, so he has his energy to fuel himself for the day. And the girl that I know I went all the way back. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. I'll bounce with you.
So, right, and we all, so plus there's a new guy there, and he's just taking his time, and he's in a hurry. You can see how he's panicking, like he's late for his meeting for malnutrition. And, I don't know. And he still left. And that's when we got, so that's in a way we got, I mean, for those who don't, I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking that people know. So that was an interesting, so everybody knows that he needs his energy and all that stuff to eat while he's running around. And I guess
the one thing I did not like, in all honesty, was that beginning scene when he goes in to do his sandwich.
Yeah.
is the fact the makeup department could have done so much better. I'm sorry. He looked like a greasy hood rat. That or he was completely strung out and sweating up the ass. Okay, no matter, what's going on with the actor, whether you like an actor or not, you can make them look decent on screen. And believe me, unless that was their intention to really make him look strung out and greasy,
Well, maybe I
it
thought,
didn't work for
well,
me.
would that be? Well, maybe that's from him not getting his nutrition that he needed. I'm not trying to make
Possibly,
it.
but it certainly wasn't explained.
No, it was not because after. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't explained, but I guess we were supposed to, catch that he's nervous, he's twitchy, he's like some kind of act like some kind of addict. I'm not gonna. I shouldn't have went there, but you know what I mean. He looked like he needed something to
Yeah,
go, and that he was so used to that girl having it ready when he got there. It's like timing, boom, boom, and you grab it and go.
true.
And
And, that kind of fits into the anxiety disorders and stuff that he has, which, that's fine what they did with that. I don't have an issue with that. It was just, like I said, the makeup department. And that might be just me being more, I'm nitpicky when it comes to certain things like that.
well, just chalk it up that he was supposed to look that way because he was as early in the morning, didn't have his coffee, but he wanted a sandwich instead, this high, calorie protein sandwich or whatever breakfast that
Yeah.
he usually has every morning. And maybe he woke up in the mood. I don't know. But anyway, he does leave. So yeah, he doesn't, he actually leaves before he gets his sandwich because he gets
Well, when
called
he came back after all that, after he is constantly cleaning up Batman's mess,
yeah.
when he finally comes back for the sandwich, I had to laugh because the guy is very slowly putting on the raisins, and I'm just like, that would irritate the living daylights out of me if
Yeah.
I went into Starbucks or whatever to get a sandwich and they're moving that slow. I mean, good
Yeah.
grief.
Well, it's just it. Well, he gets a call from Alfred because everybody's busy. He needs him to go uh, take care of that earth or whatever was going on in Gotham.
Yeah,
And
the hospital was collapsing.
yeah, the hospital was collapsing, and Batman was busy, and Superman was busy, and we don't know about the other people, but that's when he ran off and without his
Well,
sandwich.
Wonder Woman was busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was.
Wonder Woman was busy too.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody was busy, so it was up to him. So he ran from Central City to Gotham, and he got there, and the special effects on the building and the collapsing pavement were awesome. And then when anyone who's gonna this should be a movie that should let hospitals know not to put babies on the 11th floor. No, you should keep them at that because they all fell out the
Well,
window.
yeah, I know, but would you put them on the 11th floor, or would you put them down closer to the basement where they'd get crushed? So it's
There's no, there's
yeah,
yeah, you're not. There's no. Well, at least it would have been easier for Flash to get them. He wouldn't have to do what
true.
he did.
But
But
he did.
yeah.
He's got to be an amazing pool player to line them up like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a pool player shot if I ever saw one.
But those effects of him, running between all that stuff, I haven't seen that. Uh, Reminded me of the Spider-Man when all that stuff when he was trying to all that the building collapsed. This first when he the third Spider-Man with Maguire when Gwen was in the building and it collapsed and he had to jump,
Oh yeah.
and so did and when Andrews had to jump when from all that metal falling when he was trying to get to the place where the lizard was and stuff. I mean, but this one was even far more advanced because it was just I don't know how those things must take forever to film and then just build around, because
Oh,
you
I
got to
know.
remember Ezra's running around. I mean, all these actors running around green rooms, and you're trying, and I mean, they're probably used to it, but I'm just saying, you don't know what's going on until you see the final cut, But And it was awesome. That part was awesome. The babies, the dog, the nurse.
I like the dog. You like the nurse.
What? Oh, I didn't care.
I
I
really
just,
that wasn't quite what I meant. I
I
mean, you
like
like
the
the
nurse.
nurse's expression.
I like the
I
nurse.
like the dog's expression.
Oh well, I like that expression too. But just the way it came out, you like the dog, and I like the nurse. What's wrong with that? But better than the dog. But anyway, this was one. Yeah, because well, thing is, Alfred sent him to the basement first, right? And he was supposed to fix all these uh, power mains and electrical wires, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
here's my question: why is he down there doing this in normal speed?
I had the same thought. It's like, excuse me? Let's just take our time and, tie these
Yeah,
knots. And
yeah. That's what
seriously?
I'm thinking. Okay, so this should have been done seconds ago. What are you doing? And just to take that time to do that, his sandwich should have been ready.
Yeah,
The sandwich should be waiting on him because he's taking his, you know. I mean, we're supposed to have the suspension of belief, blah blah blah. That's great, but still, this seems like okay. I rushed over here. Now I'm going to take my time. I don't know.
yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense.
I caught that. It's like, well, what's he doing? He should have been. Then he would have done in a fraction of a second, and then move on to the next. And he did anyway. But I
Actually,
didn't
if he had
like
been done with that, if he had been done with that if he used super speed with it, he would have caught the fact that even though he was saying it wasn't collapsing, and it still would have given him time to get up to the floor and rescue the babies and get down before they ever came out the window.
right, right. But I didn't know. But then again, I didn't think he would know they were up there to get up there to get them. Yeah, he didn't know who everybody was. He was just taking one. To me, he was just trying to get. Alfred was sending him here, there, and there, and I think he should
Yeah,
have.
but Alfred saw the fact that it was a pending collapse. He
Yeah,
even told him that,
that's right. But
and he says, "Oh, no, it's fine." Then
yeah,
all
he's
of a
down
sudden it
there.
starts collapsing, and he's like,
Yeah,
okay, you're right, it was."
right. I mean, and the thing too is that he might have had time just to start at the bottom floor and flash his way up, check, seeing who's
Yeah,
there and bringing him out. Okay, I know that we're nitpicking right now, but we notice things. I mean, I just notice things. I mean, that's like we have to hold people
I
accountable. No, we don't. We don't have to. We
exactly.
just we
Yes, we
just
do.
yeah, we do. I mean, when you're the Flash, and because the TV Flash would have flew down there and been out, right? I mean, he wouldn't have been screwing around.
Definitely.
So
No. But then again, he only had, what is it, 43 minutes during television time to do this, whereas they had a whole almost 2 hours
yeah,
for a movie. So they got
true.
to fill it in a little bit.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that.
Sorry.
Filler? What you're trying to tell me? Filler?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, while we were nitpicking about the hospital, all I'm going to say once again, the effects of him saving everybody that's falling through the windows, the babies. There was how many babies? About 6, 7, 8?
I think there were 7.
Okay, there were 7. And you got to realize,
I'd have to go back and watch that scene as he's lining them all up on the gurney.
yeah, true. So,
And I didn't count, but I think there's 7.
yes, and also you got to realize, if you haven't seen the movie, is that he's also flinging things around, like you were talking about a pool player just knocking things so they don't hit anybody. So he's like, he throws something, you don't know what he's doing, but he's knocking knives away from hitting a baby or the dog or something, or glass, and while he's rushing to do something else. And so I'm just saying that this was an incredible, I guess, as a part of, setting up the power of the Flash, in case you haven't seen it before, and then you would know the Flash, what he does, how fast he is, and how he can manipulate and how quick he is. That hospital thing did not show him vibrating yet through anything, so we were just watching his speed and his accuracy at playing pool, maybe. in the air. So that was cool. And so he lines them up, and she's screaming. I mean, she's on the gurney. You're done. He puts the babies on the gurney. The baby comes out of the microwave. Don't worry, the microwave was not plugged in. It was just fell out the window. But he put the baby in the microwave for some reason. Was that to protect the baby from something falling, or did he?
It was to protect the baby from some of the glass.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. But I don't know why it dinged like dinner. Oh, also he's eating stuff while he's doing this. You made.
Oh yeah, he broke into the candy machine and drank a soda, and I think had a candy bar.
And then he take a burrito from. Did he get a burrito real quick somehow? I don't know.
I thought it was a candy bar, not a burrito, but who knows?
So, all I know is that he broke into the. You're right. He broke in and just started eating candy because he didn't get his sandwich, so or his breakfast sandwich that had all kinds of stuff on it. But so he had to have a fill up.
Because I know before everything happened, once he got there, he was actually asking one of his fans, "Hey, can you throw this to me?" And I think that was the burrito that didn't make it and got run over.
Right. Okay.
I think that was the burrito.
Oh.
But I could be wrong, but I know something was tossed.
Yeah. So it was all great see, and he just so after he gets done saving the baby and the smiling dog or the freaked out dog and the freaked out nurse that I like and the dog that you like and the baby's on the gurney that we all like, so he goes off to. Well, then we cut to Batman still chasing. Which criminal is that, Liz? I can't remember the criminal.
I can't either. It was so inconsequential to me, I didn't even pay attention.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a major. It was just an intro to Batman. Well, it was something to keep Batman busy, so Flash had to go to the hospital and show off for the audience.
Yeah. So. And of course, then finally had to show off there at the very end with, all secrets come loose because Wonder Woman was back with her lasso of truth.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Where's my brain going?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I was thinking of another scene. I'm like, wait a minute, was she in that or not?
Okay.
Yeah, she was.
It was Al Falcone.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I know that in the intro, I did not put all the actors because we would still be going through them right now.
Yeah, so it was a pretty power-packed cast.
All the actors and all the people that made appearance, dead, alive, or whatever. Just you know what to do. You know what you have to do. You know where you go. You type it in, and you'll see that everybody under the sun, almost, was in this movie, making a cameo or showing up somehow. So. And there were people, when you go through this, you're like, oh, I didn't know this person was in it. But yeah, they, yeah, and so that's what I have to say. That everybody was there. No, I'm just saying it's a big list. I mean, I'd still be working on it right now.
It is a huge list.
It is because
it's a huge list.
Yeah. So, and if it's just you don't realize it if you don't not paying much attention. If you've seen it only once and saw, he's in the Speed Force, so what? And then, but you have to really pay attention to see they don't do a close up like they do to some of the characters. You might miss them, but they touched on everything and everybody at least for a few seconds. And so we have Batman. But the thing is, Batman chasing Al Falcone. He's out. Ben is doing his Ben thing, and Ben is pulling it off, playing Batman, and he's
Did you think that Ben Affleck's voice was slightly deeper and huskier than some of the other times he's done
it? I don't remember, Liz, but you could be right. I mean, maybe I was thinking about his voice, being a little bit darker and husky, but this is what his third time playing the Batman.
Probably. And I know the more and more that either
Well,
singers or
fourth time
actors
because
work their voices that are different.
yeah, but fourth time because he was in Suicide Squad for a few seconds. So
Okay, but he was in Suicide Squad and he was also in Aquaman, the original.
okay, this is 5 times. He's had a few.
Yeah,
I guess he's played the character more than I. I guess until you start counting, you just don't think how many times he showed up playing the Batman. So yeah, he
yeah. I
kind
mean,
of
you
is.
think of the Batman movie, and if you don't stop and think about all the extra stuff, that he spread out and popped in as a guest star or guest appearance of the Batman.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have his own movie yet, but I mean, of course, yeah, he was. I mean, him and Superman had the same movie, but still, it wasn't just his movie, you know.
Exactly.
So I don't know, 'cause I think, now you got me thinking about it, and you're right, because I can process it. I can hear him talking in the movie now. Hey, I'm Batman. I'm gonna kick your ass, but it's either
Yeah, I
Batman or
mean,
Clint.
it's always been
It's either
a
Batman or
deeper
Clint Eastwood.
voice, but
Either Batman or Clint Eastwood. I don't know which one it is, but or nobody at all. Or I'm just trying to be Batman now because I'm old like Michael Keaton, so I can be Batman. So, oops! Spoiler. Oh, never mind. Everybody knows that.
well,
So,
I thought it was funny that they brought back Michael Keaton, considering he's crossed over from DC to Marvel. So,
well, yeah, it's not the first one to do that either, but I. But gosh, the first choice they had before Keaton came to play Batman, they had what's his name from Walking Dead and Supernatural, the father from Supernatural.
oh,
Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, he was going to be
Jeffrey Dean
Batman.
Morgan.
He was going to play Batman
Well,
until
he
they got.
wound up being. Well, it's funny because he actually is Batman's father, and then Maggie, also from Walking Dead, played his mother, which is
Okay.
really weird because on Walking Dead they're mortal enemies.
Right. But I'm just saying that he was the first choice before Keaton came on board because you don't know what Keaton's going to do because but they got him, so he lost
Keaton's
that.
Keaton.
Yeah, Keaton's Keaton. You don't know. He just so, but he decided to come back and do it, which I'm glad he did
So am
because
I, because he really did well with it.
he did. And he didn't have to worry about crossing over from being Bruce Wayne and Batman. He could just be one character. He could be himself. He didn't have to worry about being the deep voice and trying to fool people. He could just be himself. You know, maybe he did still do a
Well,
deep voice, but I'm just saying he didn't have to, worry about it as much. He wasn't talking to Commissioner Gord going, "Yeah, you don't know who I am because I changed my voice, and you don't know my chin.
okay, I get you.
You don't know my chin either."
I get you.
Yeah. So yeah. Same thing with Christian Bale. He talked like this, and then, yeah, I'm Batman.
Oh, it'd been awesome if they'd have gotten Bale in it. I don't remember them seeing Bale in it at all,
That's right. I missed out on Christian Bale.
and I don't understand. Okay, and what was filmed? Here's the thing: what was filmed first? Was the Flash filmed first, or was Rob Patterson's Batman?
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I missed some things here. Hello, Tanya. I hope you can join us. If you can't, that's fine. Tanya also says, geez, DC must have the most changes in personnel for the main characters. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, they can't make up their mind either, as you know. I mean, one day Cavell's in, and then next day he's not. So, he's planning on leaving the Witcher to go play Superman again.
Oh, he's already left The Witcher,
I
and
know.
he's not going to do Superman again.
I know that. I'm just saying he left The Witcher because then he was going to play Superman, and then that fell through, and now he's, playing Sherlock Holmes. So.
Highlander.
And then all that too. I'm just saying. Last thing I saw him was playing Doctor Who with that Stranger Things girl. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about. 11.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
Mary Berry Beth or something like that. So anyway, yeah, you're right. Christian Bale wasn't in it. I don't know if he didn't want to do it because, or I don't know. We don't know the reasons. I have to call him later on and ask why he wasn't in the movie. And then, of course, I won't be able to do that because I don't know him that well. And Tanya continues here. That's why they are such a mess. Well, Tanya, they were kind of such a mess before all this crap too, but that's neither here nor there. But you're right. And you're right, Tanya. It is a mess over there. And, well, it was a mess too when they tried to copy Marvel and make one big universe, and it was too late for that. It was just too late. They couldn't recover because they were busy doing singular films, and then they were going to try and make their own universe, and they couldn't do that right, and they had to go on and on and on and all that stuff. Back up. They were not what? You back up and get on the show.
Okay, Tanya, we're confused.
Yeah, you need to get on the show, and because I don't know what that means. Only when Snyder started. Well, yeah, but still, they changed gears. But yeah, you're right. Anyway, we all agree that DC does the best animation. Marvel does the best movies. And that's the way it goes. And then when it comes to Marvel animation, and then when it comes to DC movies, but anyway, Marvel is kind of slipping too in the movie department, and we can't talk about that right now. But they may be they're losing their luster too. This Phase 5 is not going, I don't think, as they thought it would. They should have had one director working on individual films. This again from Tanya. Once again from Tanya, I can't. I'm about to deal with breaking news. Right, break the news here. We're right here live. We're ready to go.
We're all part of NTB Media. We should be breaking news.
We're breaking news here. Yeah, break the news here. But anyway, yeah, I understand, Tanya. Well, maybe when you're done with that, you can join us. If not, fine. It's good to hear from you anyway. Glad you're in the chat room. I hope everything's going well. Once again, congratulations on the sale that you had from your website. So if you want to, you can post that website here in the chat room, and I will spread the news because that's what I do. So
that, and Tanya, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I had sent you a message because I need to commission you for something for my sister.
Let's see what yeah. Okay. So thank you, Tanya. So, but anyways, where were we? We were talking about something. So, see, we get sidetracked and then I lose my place.
Sidetracked? Never.
No. Well, we weren't sidetracked. We just got. So, anyway, Flash. Where were we? We were talking
I don't remember.
Batmans. We're talking about the different Batmans.
No, different Batmans, yeah.
Well, we're talking about Christian Bale is what we were talking about.
True, and the fact that it surprised me that Christian wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was asking. When was Rob Patterson's Batman filmed versus when was The Flash? Because that would have been another one that hadn't been in it either.
I think the Flash was probably in post or something when they were making Patterson. And plus Patterson, but then Patterson, I don't know. That's neither. I can see what you're saying, but I don't know if Patterson could get away if they were still filming when the Flash was. I don't know. It's been a 5-year process. I don't know, how long, where the Flash was when Patterson started. And Patterson, maybe when they do another Flash multi-Batman movie, we can see it.
Yeah, I was just thinking it would have been a cool little insert as a teaser to the next movie type thing. Oh,
yeah,
that's a different Batman.
Yeah, Yeah. And then they would have said, "Why is he twinkling? He has all these sparkles and stuff. What's going on?" So that would have been
Rob has
confusing.
done other movies besides
I know,
Twilight. It's actually
I know,
quite good.
I know. But I have to go there because I kept wondering how can Batman hide in the dark when he's sparkling? But that's you always
It's
go
the
to.
suit.
Yeah, it's the suit. But it was good to see Michael Keaton. Anyway, okay, yeah, okay. So
Although I
Batman,
love the fact with Michael Keaton, just how crazy he was.
still,
I mean, just absolutely how crazy, and
well, yeah,
it worked.
he's getting ready to do his Beetlejuice. So he was the
Yeah, it pretty
he
much
was he
looked
was
like
the
that.
he was the Beetlejuice Batman. I don't know about that, but
Actually, yeah,
that
no
would be
comment.
that would be an interesting Batman, wouldn't it? Beetlejuice, Batman.
Oh God, please no, don't cross Beetlejuice and Batman. No,
But
I'm gonna have visions of that.
yeah, so Batman.
So do I? I was,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one final thing. So should I be saying Batman, 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 or
Yes.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice?
Either one will work.
Anyways,
And Wonder Woman appearance was short but sweet, and it was funny because Batman was in the lasso of truth, telling all kinds of strange secrets that
oh yeah,
only Ben Affleck could pull off. But because he was also attached to a criminal that he was that he tried to save off. He fell off the bridge. So
yeah. Actually,
Wonder Woman saved Batman
all
and
three of them were attached.
what's that?
I said all three of them were
Well,
attached.
eventually, but I'm just saying the Batman was trying to keep the civilian from falling into the river or whatever, and hands started to slip. He's like, "He's gonna let go," and then all of a sudden you see the lasso go around both their hands, and she just pulls them up, of course, with no problem, because she's Wonder Woman. So Godot had a good what 3 seconds, maybe a minute. I mean, total
I
face
wouldn't even
value.
go so far as to say a minute, but it was good.
It was good. And like you said, Flash does show up, and then he tries to, because Ben's trying to get the lasso loose because he keeps telling the truth about his parents and everything else, and then so Barry tries to help, and that's a whole new can of worms. So it was that was I guess saying that he knows what sex is, but he hasn't had it. So I guess that tells us a lot.
Yeah.
I guess that was too truthful, I believe. But
But the thing is, it's very obvious that's how he is. He knows what it is, but he's too shy to act on it and hasn't had anything like that yet.
no, no, that's true because earlier he was talking to Iris, and
Well, he has a huge crush on Iris and has for years.
yeah, yeah. So and
The part I liked when he had Iris come over to his apartment and he went in there and speed cleaned everything and threw everything in the closet.
yeah,
It's like that was a definite was going to happen. It was so
yeah,
seriously. I mean, we all expected it.
yeah.
But I love how he phased into the apartment next door, though, for the beers.
For
That
the
was good.
beers, yeah, that was good. Yeah, you want a beer? And he didn't have nothing in his fridge. For a guy that has to eat all the time, he really had an empty fridge, didn't he? So
Probably
he
because he
yeah,
has to eat all the time.
yeah, that's true. But anyway, that was funny how he phased through, came back with the beers, and then of course he forgot that that was funny that they accounted for the vibration. So when he opened it, it spilled all over him.
Oh, I know.
And then and that was I mean, she wasn't in it that much. I mean, like to be a Cobain They didn't use her as like, you know, a damsel in distress type of thing, like they did with Mary Jane and Gwen and whatever in the Spider-Man movies, you know. But
Well, I think even her character with the TV show has always been a very strong, independent woman. So I don't see why they would change the character. You know what I mean?
no, but I know she's a strong character, but if the right villain comes along, she's not gonna be, the civilian is not going to be able to fight it off. I mean, it's only so much. But yeah, you're right. We don't want to see that stuff much anymore. I mean, we're, you know, women are strong now. I mean, they've always been strong. They just that we've
They
they've
weren't
evolved.
portrayed as stronger characters.
Yeah. So, but still, it was good that, you know, it was a quick date.
Yeah.
And these are in the apartment to you. That's what's so funny. Oh, I gotta go. And he's talking about time travel, and she's like, what the hell? I mean, you think that she would never want to see this guy again, that he's talking about whatever, and then she leaves, and then he leaves her there, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, you know, it's kind of, wouldn't that be like some type of a deal breaker, Liz, if you, unless you really like the guy, I guess. But I mean, she knew Barry, so maybe she knew Barry was a scatterbrain. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking she already knew he was a bit quirky. So
Yeah,
that was par for the course for her.
yeah. And then that's funny when she went to leave and everything, all the cupboards opened up, and she saw that, you know, all his junk came out. Oh,
Well, did you notice both times that the lamp or the light hanging down from the ceiling was like swinging?
no, I didn't.
Yeah. When in the apartment and then I think in his parents' house too.
Oh, yeah,
And both times he had to reach up and stop it from swinging.
yeah. This is after the conversation. Okay, the Iris in the apartment is after Ezra talked to Batman about his wanting to go back in time, and Batman telling it, well, Bruce Wayne saying that's a bad idea. I mean, we go through the whole effect, you know, the butterfly effect and all that stuff. It'll change history. So that's why he's babbling in the apartment, because he thinks he's found a way to change it and not screw anything up. You know, because we're always, you know,
Yeah.
and we know where that got Barry in the TV series when he thought he could try and do that. So he'd come back and something was off. And I'm glad they didn't do it a lot. They
Well,
could have
I think that's
it.
well, I think that's a play that's been used in so many different movies and television shows, not just The Flash, but in a lot of things. You
No,
don't interact with yourself. You don't go back in time because you will create a paradox.
true. And that's what, real quick, that's what I didn't like about Avengers Endgame, is that they used time travel to fix it. And it's like, come on, I mean, like you said, it's been used so much now that it seems like it's just too easy. Oh, let's go back in time and fix it,
Yeah.
and everything's cool. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know why they went with this time thing. Why they went with this when it was so close to the. Anyway, they went with it, and it's just like. And to me, it was like watching. Okay, I just saw this on the Flash TV show. I mean, what's the? Yeah, better effects and higher class. I mean, top A-lister actors, but okay, you're gonna put a whole season into an hour and whatever it was. There she is. I gotta bring her in, don't I? I think I
Ooh,
should.
Tanya.
Hey, Tanya, breaking news now. Go.
Huh?
Breaking news. Go.
No, because I'm in the middle of dealing with all that right now.
Well, I'll
So
help you deal. I'll help you deal with it, Tanya. I'll be your coach.
Richard, shame on you.
what are you guys up?
Anything to break a story. No, I'm kidding. $100. No, I'm just kidding again. But anyway, we're still discussing Flash Ice Queen, as you know.
Okay.
You could have came in as Captain Cold. Wasn't she female on? No, she wasn't female. Who was female on the Flash show? You could have been. You could have been who was the ice? Who was the other the girl that had the ice powers? Liz, on the TV
Oh,
show.
oh, oh,
His partner that was with him, the girl.
oh.
I
Are you
I'm
talking
trying to
about
think.
Frost?
Now I can't think. I can visualize her.
You're talking about Frost.
yeah, Frost.
Yes, thank you, Frost.
He came on as Frost.
True.
But anyway, what were you discussing, Liz? We're all over the place on this thing.
I don't know, but I want to take 1 second.
Oh, I was
Tanya,
talking.
those the curls? Are those the curls that you just did?
Yeah, but they kind of fell a little because of the weather.
They look really good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've gotten bored with my hair, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start experimenting. Let's see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, back to you.
So, back to the Flash.
I left you a message on your post about having your first order for the website.
Oh, I haven't checked my Facebook yet.
That's fine. It doesn't say much. It's just that, Anyway, you'll read it and you'll laugh because I told you can eventually you'll be able to afford your season tickets for Jets games. So. So we're talking about Marvel real quick about how they use time. We were talking about they're using time travel all the time to fix problems.
Oh, I hate that so much. It's like in freaking Star Trek.
True. And they used it so much in another show called Fringe.
Yes, they did.
I never saw Fringe.
Well,
so I can't speak to Fringe.
It's a good show.
You should. It's pretty cool
Fringe,
stuff.
It was Heroes. Well, and Fringe too, but Heroes with that guy that can control time. He was screwing everything up all the time. Good. I gotta keep track of it. And then, they all use it. And they use it too much, and it just gets diluted.
Yeah.
And then it becomes
they don't know what other stories to tell, or how to tell something without just dealing with the frickin' timeline. And I'm like, enough already. Like, if you can't be creative, then don't do it at all.
And then each time they have to explain how the timeline works and how it bends and becomes spaghetti. So.
Oh, that was a good scene. That was actually a really good way to describe it. And then he just dumps the sauce.
Yeah. Then it's just destroyed.
But it actually made sense the way he was describing it. It actually was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was something new because instead of using a string all the time, well, here's a string and then it does this and then it eats and spaghetti's a lot better. And plus, you can eat it when you're done explaining it.
True. It was dinner after all, except when you grate the cheese. What are you trying to figure out? Use the cheese for? It's just a garnish.
Of course. Then okay, we should talk about him meeting himself as a young 18-year-old earlier in the show because he actually goes back, meets his mom, and she's alive because he was able to fix things in the grocery store, right?
True, but in the same process, because of that, you screwed up everything else and created so many more worse outcomes.
Yeah. His simple solution wasn't so simple.
When you're dealing with time travel, it never is.
No. Now, was it fair of him to steal those old couple's clothes?
I thought that was hysterical.
Oh, yeah, but still, you're still in their clothes. They probably thought that was probably thinking, "Oh, did we forget to put our clothes on?" I don't know. Well, if they have all, now they're questioning their sanity now because they're walking around. But yeah, and then he sees him.
I have those thoughts every morning.
Yeah.
It's the age thing. But I mean, okay, so he sold her sweater. She still got a shirt on, I'm assuming, since it's a button-down sweater. And he stole the guy's pants. I'm sure he probably, I don't want to stereotype older men, but a gentleman of that age is most likely wearing boxers, not briefs, so he should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So, because he Well, he went and changed it, then he tried to get back, and somehow he came out on a different timeline. He thought he was all by himself. And he looks out the window and he sees himself coming across the street. That must have freaked him
It's
out.
like, oh, dude. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, he got pushed out, and he got pushed right in front of his childhood home, and he already knew that it was back in time because earlier on he had, when he was talking to his dad, he was in front of his old house that had a new family in it. So he knew at this point he had been pushed out in the past.
Yeah. And plus he,
and when he walked in and saw his mom and the whole bit, and his mom thought it was him, but just the slightly younger, like 18, 19-year-old off to college, not the 30-year-old that he was.
Well, he knew things were different. They said, "How was school going?" And they asked him that. "How's school going?" What? So, yeah. And what did you think of Ezra's portrayal of the 18-year-old Barry?
A little too over the top, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it'd be exciting and stuff. Oh, gee, you're from the future and everything. And do it again. As far as the speed building of the cushions, barricade type thing. But it just to me seemed, this kid is supposed to be 18 years old. I'd expect this from my 8-year-old.
Right.
Not quite.
Yeah. Do you think that
maybe it's just me?
Well, I'm not saying that. You're probably. It was a little bit like that, but that might have been for the kids in the audience. Some kind of clown for them. Whatever, you know what I mean. But he was a little bit.
Yeah, but when you cater across, when you cater to all audiences like that across the board, it takes away something from the story.
I will say one thing real quick. His laugh annoyed me to death.
Oh my gosh, yes. I felt like I kept yelling at the screen, "Shut up already. Like, just stop."
It was like a bad Joker. I don't know what a really bad Joker laugh. I don't know. That was probably over the top part there. Was his laugh. Like, what is this? I mean,
Yeah.
And they did
I agree with you.
And they did a good job making both of them look age appropriate. In a way. And then and I'm glad they didn't spend a lot of time explaining it to. Okay, we're going to have Barry 1 is older, Barry 2 is younger. Or we can go Barry 18 and Barry plus. So whatever you want to call him. But I'm glad we didn't spend a lot of time of, do the explanation of all the time travel or the I'm a Flash and all that crap. And he just said, "Oh, cool," and then we can move on real fast. We didn't have to drag it out. That was nice. And then, him making sure he got to the lab in time to get powers.
And the fact that he got talked into that and he was okay with that, I thought was pretty cool.
Who, the younger? But
Barry? I mean, that the older Barry talked the younger Barry into being able to do it.
Well, he was still fighting it. He was still protesting, but I think he wanted to be, if someone's going to tell you you're going to get powers, you're like, "Oh, okay." So,
I mean, yeah.
You're going to be able to run real fast, and if you're that immature 18-year-old, he probably wants to run around in the girls' locker room, so, or men's, whatever he
probably
prefers. So, anyway.
Well, it'd be girls because he's still the same. He's the same person.
Yeah, you never know.
And if I remember correctly, Mom had even mentioned, "Are you,
oh yeah,
going to ask that cute girl in class which was Iris, of course."
Iris, yeah, you're right. Never mind. No. So, this whole well, I guess you have to have the different personalities. The one's trying to older, mature, the other one's younger. And I'm trying to. It was never. There was nothing like the older Barry didn't say that I used to act like this. But
That's one thing I actually appreciated. The more we got into the story, the less he was weird like he was in the beginning. He was more mature the whole way across the board after the first few minutes.
Oh yeah, he had the character growth. He's the one that had the story arc, and because he went from that and whatever and becoming more serious and taking the responsibility a little bit more, and maybe a little bit, and then he makes the mistake. But I'm just saying that he figures out later on what happened, why things that are different between other things that are different between the two Barrys when it comes to their mother. He figures that out, and that kind of makes him a little bit more serious, I believe, and maybe a little bit more sympathetic to the older Barry, because he's always giving the older Barry a hard time, So
True.
which I didn't, I didn't try kind of understand, they both got bathed in the lightning and the chemicals, why the older Barry lost his powers. I mean, is that like
I think it's because he already had them and it reversed it. It's kind of how I'm thinking.
Well, I'm thinking
it gave
that,
him one extra healing, because remember, he healed, but he didn't get his superpowers back. He was
No.
able to heal, and then that was it. Because as
Yeah.
we saw later on, he didn't heal nearly as fast or anything.
Right. I'm also thinking, this is just me, is that what I just kept thinking, wasn't older Barry standing in the way of younger Barry getting bathed in the chemicals? Wasn't he standing like in front of the chair, or was he to the side, more of the side of the chair?
No, he was standing in front of him completely. And when the lightning hit, well, everything bathed both of them. But when the lightning hit, it went through him.
He went through both Barrys, but I'm just thinking the older Barry was standing there, so he would absorb the chemicals and not the younger Barry because he's blocking them. It doesn't matter. So now we have, so now we have that the old switcheroo. One has powers and one doesn't have the powers anymore. So, and so now they're trying to get out of the facility, and older Barry tries to go for a run, and he's like very slow, compared to the Flash stuff. And it makes it look, the way they filmed it and stuff, it made it look more dramatic when he lost his, trying to regain his speed. The way they had him running around, in that circle. And did you think it was too quick? Well, at first the older Barry was trying to vibrate through the wall, and he couldn't do it. So.
Oh, I know. I thought that was funny.
He sticks his finger there and nothing happens, and then he has to teach the effects of when they first arrived there. And I'm going back here, but he's carrying the older Barry's carrying the younger Barry so they can vibrate through the door, and then how they broke down going through that door, like down to the atomic level, and how they had his eyeball, the younger Barry's eyeball just meld with that door. That was a good effect, I thought, because then it just went right into that door. And that was
that was pretty cool.
That was probably 50 million right there. And then they just moved on through, and then so now we don't have two Barrys with powers anymore. We just have one. And then Barry has to show the younger Barry how, did he show him how to vibrate through the wall then to get them out?
True. He started teaching him, but I thought it was so funny that, he's trying to vibrate. And I don't remember if this was the original Barry or his younger self, but when they're at the lab and the younger Barry it has to be before, because the younger Barry hops onto the older Barry to vibrate through the glass wall. Then they realize the glass is open, the door's open. I'm just like, oh God, little intelligence here.
Yeah. So that's when, because they were racing to get the younger Barry there. They had 30 minutes to get there from the bedroom to get his powers.
Right. Because when he asks him, what day it was, and he told him, well, it's the 29th or whatever. He's like, this is the day it happened.
Right. At this point, why was it important for younger Barry to get his powers?
I think so. If he doesn't get his powers, he will never get his powers, which means Barry in the future won't have his powers. So
Okay.
Barry in the future not only wants all of his powers and nothing to change from the future, except for the fact of his mom and his father. He
Okay.
wants his mom still being alive, and obviously his dad's not in prison. But other than that, nothing changes. He's still a superhero.
True. I understand. I mean, I understand. I'm just so he gets his powers because he doesn't work at that. He's not working as a forensic tech, in at which is because at this time, see that's the thing is if he got his powers then, why isn't this Barry, the younger Barry, already there to do this? What has changed that they're not?
Because his mother was still alive. His father was not accused of murder, and he didn't go down that
You're right.
justice.
You're right. Since his mother was alive, he wouldn't have any. He wouldn't want him to do forensics because his mom's alive, and maybe I always thought if his mom's alive, he would choose a different path instead of being forensics. Since his mom's alive, he just choose something different.
And he was a lot more, because his mother was alive, he was a lot more regular teenager, whatever. He wasn't nearly as serious and determined to find out a way for his father to get out of jail or to get out of prison.
Well, he has his family, so that's why he's probably acting the way he is. That's young Barry, because he doesn't know the pain from having both his parents gone.
Exactly.
So that's why he's so immature. He has his mom. He's a mommy's boy, and so he's
very much so. Yes.
So that's why he's acting the way he is. Whereas now we see the difference between the two Barrys. One has more pain than the other. The younger Barry seems to be a regular teenage kid, whatever that means, but without the baggage of the older Barry.
I think a regular teenage kid who, like you said earlier on, is a bit spoiled. He is a bit of a mama's boy, and
right.
That's culturally, it's culturally a little bit more from what his heritage is.
True. So anyway, they switch powers. It's like what's that movie where Jamie Lee Curtis and the other woman change, mother and daughter change places? What's that called?
Freaky Friday.
Yes, this is Freaky
Flashy. Friday.
Well, this is Freaky Flashy.
Freaky Flashy. Oh, that's bad. That's good, but bad.
So anyway,
I have to remember that one.
Yeah. So what they find out that Zod's coming, right? Is that what's next? They find out that Zod's coming.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find out
because that was the same. Yeah, because that was the same day that he got his powers. He was not able to do what he had wanted to do when Zod first appeared.
Yeah.
That's why so much crap happened. So now he's really wanting to, okay, I know this is coming. This is what we got to do. We got to look up the team.
Yeah. We got good.
And the team don't exist.
Yeah, the team.
Yeah, and the team don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, he goes back to young Alan's apartment, doesn't? And then he meets the roommates that are just kind of funny that, they're in these.
That one guy.
Yeah, the one guy had the tattoo.
The tattoo and
there's the old joke where what's his name played in Back to the Future, Eric Smoltz or whatever his name was. I don't know.
Yeah. I love that. Yes, and it was Eric Stoltz, STO. But I thought that was funny. I thought,
but that's been used
Michael
before.
J. Fox. Well, wasn't he the guy in Top Gun? Remember how they talked about Michael J. Fox?
Well, Michael J. Fox and Top Gun, and then they can. That
I actually almost lost that.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Michael J. Fox and Top Gun. Okay, that would have been more comedy.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
don't know. That
Well,
makes you
they're
rethink
both about the same height.
yeah, but it makes you rethink the movie though. It's like, okay, you have Tom Cruise versus because Michael J. Fox
I
still acts has same different mannerisms and how he does stuff, and it would have been an interesting movie with him. And but I liked how
well,
he
I
had
could
that.
almost see Eric. I could almost see Eric doing Back to the Future because he was one of the original actors they were looking at to do it.
Well, he started doing it, and then he quit. He got
Yeah.
fired, and then he didn't like the movie. He didn't think it made any sense.
No, I know. I
So,
bet he regrets it now.
I don't understand this. I don't understand what's going on here. And then when they let him go, because they finally were able to get Michael J. Fox, and then they said he kind of smiled and left the room, and then found out that he was out millions and millions of dollars later on. So that's the way it goes. You never know.
And those movies made Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he was popular as a TV actor on Family Ties, but once he hit Back to the Future, it was gone.
You're right. That made him. But anyway, that was he said that. He said, "Well, that tattoo's upside down." And that guy lifts his leg like that. Oh, come on! No, it's not. He's in his underwear doing this crap. It's like, geez. But and I liked how what was the girl's name again? The roommate.
Oh, I forget. I can picture her, but I can't think of it.
Yeah. Because he's trying, but when he calls Arthur Curry's dad, which wasn't his dad.
Oh, I know it. Well, are you married by any chance to some way he described the woman being mermaid or whatever, like the queen of mermaids?
No,
And he looks at this older, heavy set
yeah.
woman on the couch who's like,
Isn't your wife the queen of Atlantis? And you look over and like, I don't think
Yeah.
he hangs up, So she's like, yeah, I don't think she's the queen of Atlantis. Because he's finding out that
yeah,
Superman
my dog's name is Arthur.
Yes, my dog. You want to talk to my dog? Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And well, he's finding out that Superman doesn't exist. Wonder Woman's an act in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was good too.
And then he goes, well, what about Batman? And then that woman burps the Batman voice. I thought that was awesome.
It's like, so Batman really does exist here.
Yeah, but she goes, she does that burping thing. I'm Batman. And it's in a burp. And
Batman.
It's like excellent. So then that's when they run off to the mansion to go find.
All you see is the water bubbling, and there's nobody around. And the place is a mess. The kitchen is a mess.
Older Barry tells younger Barry they have to leave because they're going to a cousin's dinner.
Yeah. And he was still confused at the end.
And
it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, some of the, I know they're trying to make this kind of humorous movie kind. I mean, they always, but that was a bit much for him thinking that they were actually at a cousin's dinner. But there's only one guy there.
Yeah,
how's that cousins? That's only one cousin.
I kind of found it personally. I found it insulting, because Barry Allen is a very, very intelligent person, whether he's an 18-year-old screw-up kid or a 30-year-old. Still the same person. Right. He is still highly intelligent. And that, to me, was somebody who was either so messed up and strung out on something that has no brain cells left or something else.
True.
Yeah, that was just, it was very...
Well, if you look at it, those two roommates kind of seemed a little bit strung out too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
As opposed to how they were in the other timeline. So.
True. But also, it's like, when they went back to the teenage Barry Allen's dorm room, and the older Barry is saying, wow, this was not what I was expecting. And he's like, well, Mom helped me decorate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
because she would be alive to help him do all these.
Yeah.
Again, now he has the help of his mother to help him out with his new pad and
So I
stuff.
mean, he wasn't as dumb as how that made it be. Oh,
Yeah,
this is your cousin, or we're still going to the cousin's dinner or something. I
it's,
forget exactly how he phrased it, but
he said, well, he just looked confused when he said we're going to the cousins dinner. It's like, okay, and then he, I don't know, it seemed like he was too,
naive.
yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, what was the movie with the traveling phone booth? Ed and Ted's or Ted and Ed's or somebody's
Ted
excellent
and Ed.
adventure, huh?
Yes. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
So he was too much like that. Those kind of characters, those two that were, running around in a time machine. And I guess that's kind of true. Maybe that's maybe that's the whole point to pay homage to that movie. They'll have them be since they're both dealing with time travel, So I don't know.
Possibly.
Maybe, but anyway, they make it to the. Well, think of it too. Once they get to the, he doesn't. It takes him a while to figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. When he's telling them that we gotta go find Batman, and then they go to the mansion and find this old guy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Bruce is explaining stuff, in mathematical, probabilities. Hello, you don't get a clue of what's going on, and there's this huge mansion, and you're still not cluing in.
Well, he knows that Bruce is probably rich and stuff, but the thing is, real quick here, the fight scene in the kitchen was awesome with Michael Keaton.
Oh,
him.
Yeah, I love that.
Him sneaking up on those people like he's still Batman, and he's in this cape. Again, not a cape, but a robe, and he's got this big old hairy beard, and he just looks like he's a homeless man, doesn't he? He's homeless, or like he's squatting in this mansion.
Yeah, I think that's how it was supposed to come across, because he was kind of like squatting in the kitchen, but it was very obvious he still had all his skills.
Right. They may be a little slow and maybe, but you're right. He did have his skills. And so, but that was, the whole effects that they did in there too, and in the kitchen and the fighting and how they were able to, poor older Barry was getting hit and stuff because he couldn't get out of the way because he didn't have his powers. He just kept getting hit over the head with stuff. So, so then, younger Barry moves out of the way, and Wayne goes through the table and kind of gets his bell rung. So they were able to talk to him a little bit. That's when he starts making spaghetti and stuff. And it goes through this spaghetti thing that we already talked about. And then they were asking, then when it came time to ask if he was going to help them, he said no. Did he say pass or something like that?
I think it was pass. I think I'll pass on this one.
I'll pass on this one. So older Barry says,
because Barry laid everything out to him as far as the time travel, and looks like he's in a different universe type of thing.
Right.
And this is one way to go back and fix your.
But didn't Bruce kind of guess that he's the one that messed up the time? He goes, "You're the one that messed up the timeline, aren't you?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He was able. He's a detective. And that's what they wanted him. But he said he was going to pass, so he did. But then older Barry said, "No, we're still going to do this." And they went to the Batcave.
Yeah.
And
that was so awesome watching it light up.
Yeah, it was when he hit that level, everything lit up. And
oh yeah,
younger Barry was like a kid in a candy store. Because that's the car. And they showed the car. That was awesome. How the camera rolled down, like they did for the Enterprise in the first movie, in the motionless movie picture or whatever it was called, and so that was kind of cool. But while he's doing that, the older Barry's is on the computer trying to find out what's going on with everybody. Where's everybody at and stuff, and looking for Clark Kent, right? Because he's still looking for Kent.
He's looking, yeah, he's looking for Kal-El, not
Yeah,
necessarily
Kal-El.
Clark Kent, but he knew, and that was what was so confusing to the younger Barry. He's like, okay, I'm looking for Clark, I'm looking for Kal-El. Who am I looking for?
Yeah, who am I looking for? Yeah.
It's like they're all the same person.
Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah, they're all the same person. Oh, okay.
Like Clark is his undercover of Kal-El, who's Superman.
Right. That did confuse him. And well, he's confused almost the whole picture. So, plus, we're, you know,
And yeah, and then he finally found right at the end, I like when he fell asleep and there was that hot cup of coffee sitting next to him, which made it's like, okay, Bruce is actually on board. He just hasn't said it yet.
yeah. He's still not. Yeah, you're right. And eventually, well, Bruce is watching them, through cameras in the Batcave. He's watching them.
Yeah.
Listening to them, seeing what they're doing. I guess to make sure I don't take his Batmobile for a joyride. So
Yeah, that wasn't the impression I got, but possible.
I'm just.
I mean, definitely he was watching him, but I mean, the coffee.
That was just a joke, please.
Okay, I'm being serious. You're.
No,
We're
be more serious.
supposed to be Roger and Ebert. We're supposed to be Roger and Ebert on this, okay?
Okay. Your opinion sucks. Your opinion sucks. This movie was great. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, they
Well, I don't know what movie you watched, but it was absolutely wonderful, and the acting was outstanding.
Oh my gosh, where were you? You were in another theater, weren't you? What the hell? I don't know what you were doing. You were drinking, weren't you?
Were you drinking too much last time? At least you're somebody who's old enough to know who Roger and Ebert were back in the real quality days.
We actually remember these two that did movies that actually didn't even.
They hated each other.
Yeah, they hated each other.
God,
but they still did this show together for how many years, and that was funny. So, but so what?
So they finally find. I was going to say when they finally find, basically the crash site and the date, or close to the date of what they think is Kal-El, and they, go to try to rescue him. They were definitely in for a surprise.
Right. And he was working on these calculations and stuff, and somehow he talked to the camera, didn't he? Older Barry, and then that's when Hobo Bruce Wayne decided. I guess that's what he changed his mind.
Yeah.
And this is one of the best scenes up there when he opens up that secret passageway to the bookcase, but there were no bat holes.
I think there were only two outstanding scenes, and that was one of them.
With all the bat suits.
And the other one. Yeah, the bat suits, and then the other one I'm talking about.
I know the other one that you talked about. But all the bat suits, which in a way you wonder why they're all upstairs and not in the bat cave, but that's neither here. But
I wondered that too.
But then you have to But anyway,
humidity.
No, probably so the scene would play better, more suspense and more stuff.
It was hidden and all behind all the library and the sliding secret room.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it would have been better if
which was behind the picture of his parents. It was the locks was behind the picture of his parents, which I thought was really cool.
Which was cool. But it would have been better if he would have had to lift up this, the bust and hit that button and have it slide open. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
The bat suits on a bat pole. The bat suits on a bat pole, and then they could just. But yeah, and so and then they cut scenes, and then younger Barry and older. Well, younger Barry's getting fed up with older Barry, being all serious and all this stuff, and talking about the teddy bear. Right.
Well, he was upset with the teddy bear and he couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Whereas the teddy bear for the older bear, it was the last thing his mother ever gave him.
Right. And the older,
You know?
since the younger Barry probably had lots of gifts from his mother, the teddy bear just kind of, well, whatever. It's just another gift.
Well, the teddy bear he was using as a dartboard,
Yeah, he was.
piece. So,
Yeah. That didn't make him.
and I think that's what pissed off the older Barry, and he
Yeah.
just kind of held it as a grudge, and it was smoldering all this time, and just hadn't exploded yet.
You're right. You're right. And because they were still butting heads because they didn't understand each other's perspective. And then finally we get to see Batman. Yeah. And they played it just right, having him walk up and have the camera come close up, and then he goes, "I'm Batman." The line we've been waiting for about an hour. And once he said, "I'm Batman," you can go home. You had your moment.
Pretty much. It's like, I think we could fast forward to the rest of the movie in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Well, plus we can, and it was interesting that, then younger Barry's, oh, he's Batman. And finally it hits, I don't know, it just fit.
It's like, hello.
Yeah, hello. It's his house. It's his cave. Who do you think he was? He was written it to somebody else. He was written it out to another guy to play Batman. That's where he made all his money, from Batman rentals. So, and plus then they have, oh, okay, then we have to go through the part where, they're making the calculations so older Barry can get his powers back, trying to, figure out how to.
Well, no, they hadn't gone quite that part yet, because they made calculations. Barry was doing all the calculations to find Kal-El.
That's true.
When, and now they found, okay, this black site ties in with the date that we had the asteroid storm, the meteor storm, which was tied into the same stuff Barry remembers as it, happening.
Right.
So let's go. Yeah. So let's go. Okay, they're at this black site. Let's go rescue Kal-El.
Then here comes
big shocker. It ain't Kal-El. Oh yeah, my favorite part, definitely. I swear to God, I had an orgasm. I know, I had an orgasm when I saw that thing. I swear to God.
Oh my God!
I was like, oh,
that's what I heard. I wondered what that noise was.
Don't have them often, but yeah, that definitely. But no, that was a beautiful piece of filming.
When that go ahead, Liz. This is yours.
But
this is you.
I said what I said. Okay, it was awesome watching it come out. Boy, that sounded wrong.
We need to. We're talking about the bat plane.
Rewind.
We are. Right. We haven't made. No one knows what we're talking about yet. We just know you had an orgasm when you saw it, when it came out. So we haven't made. No one knows what the hell we're talking about right now. But now we're talking about the scene where the bat plane comes out of the ceiling of the cave. And yeah.
I thought you had already mentioned the bat plane coming out, or I wouldn't have taken it the way I did.
Because this was you. I was wanting you to bring everything out, the bat plane coming down and giving you an orgasm and whatever. But no, no one knew, for about 2 minutes there, people go, what the hell are they talking about? What's going on?
Like all of a sudden we went X-rated and we're trying to.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you don't know it's a bat plane. So anyway, yeah, the bat plane when it came out. Yeah.
Well, just jump up and slap me.
The bat plane came down and, and they all hopped in and rode to Russia. So they were able to sneak into Russia.
Yeah. Well, it's the bat plane. Of course they can sneak into Russia.
They sneak into Russia to where they think Kal-El is being held. So it's big old prison. They get a shocker when they get ejected out of the plane with the parachutes. like a roller coaster at a amusement park. And they ask him, "How are you
True.
going to get out of this thing?" And he just jumps out without a chute and just floats down with his.
Oh, I
bat.
know.
That was cool because they're they're freaking out in these chairs that they rejected out of with the parachutes, and he's just jumps out with no no
I
parachute.
think it'd been so cool. I think it'd been so cool to be in those ejection chairs. I would have had a blast with that.
Yeah, I can see that, but they're not used to it. But I mean, I see what you mean. But yet you're going to be ejecting out over Russia. I mean, you're not like you're going to be
Oh yeah, that's a pucker factor in its own right, but not
I mean, if you get spotted, you're not going to make it down alive. So anyway, because I mean, they weren't protected like the bat plane was. So I mean, maybe the chairs were. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They all make it down to the prison, and they're making their way through it. Go ahead.
The one thing I wanted to say about the prison is you and I have discussed this in the past, but did anybody else, I'm curious, realize or look at that going, I've seen that same prison used in about 4 other either DC or Marvel movies.
Yes, you did mention that.
It's like, okay, how many other times are they going to keep reusing the same old?
Well, it's the old Lost in Space. Use the same set over and over again, the same money.
True. But they used how much to make this film? They couldn't have come up with a different site.
Well, they want to save a couple dollars out of this $220 million. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, $220 million something movie.
Or we're like, hey, we already have a cool site over here. Let's use it again. No one will notice except Liz. So.
Oh, hey, wait a minute! Don't blame me on this one. You noticed it too.
No, you're true, but you're right. They do use it over and over again, but we're not.
I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet if I asked certain other people that I know just that one scene, would they say they had seen it anywhere else? And I'm willing to bet they would say yes.
Yeah. It's yeah, but they did. They used it again instead of building brand new. But then
But anyways, going on with you.
But still, you have to maybe admire them for actually being economical for once. Instead of we're going to build another $100,000 set instead of using this one over and over again. So that could be a thing too. They're actually being economical for once.
Well, they have a battle scene coming up, so they probably have to think about saving the money for that.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah. So save their money. Let's see. Let's save $10,000 out of this $220 million. But you're right, and they make their way. Yeah, and they make their way into the prison. Pretty much. I mean. And they finally get.
They're in there. They're looking for Kal-El.
Yeah, looking for Kal-El, and then Barry starts making noises.
Yeah.
So, I mean this is so they're when they make the noises and they come out and they start fighting, and Batman's at the beginning when Batman's fighting the group of guys there. All by himself at the first juncture, he's fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
The CGI looked a little bit too didn't look as smooth as it could be. It reminded me of the Spider-Man Maguire movie, maybe between 2 and 3, how the special effects had come. It looked like it was just a little too, I don't know, like that.
Choppy?
Yeah.
I thought it was more choppy, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you're watching it and all of a sudden, okay, after all these effects, they kind of dropped the ball on this. But still, I know, I mean, it wasn't like you were being nitpicky. You notice it. If you're watching a movie, all of a sudden, wait a minute, that doesn't look as smooth as it should be. Right?
True. But also, you and I are nitpicking, pulling it apart. We're also fans of it. Whereas the general public who just goes in there to watch probably wouldn't even notice.
Maybe, maybe not. But anyway,
I'm being wishful thinking. I got to give it positive credit somewhere.
Well, I'm not saying the Batman. I mean, after that, the Batman stuff was pretty good, but that for that a particular scene or whatever, it just seemed like just something doesn't right. I mean, the rest was great, but that for that one few seconds or whatever, how long that scene was, it just didn't seem right to me. But that's just me and you, I guess. But that doesn't take away from the movie. Don't get me wrong; it doesn't take away from it. I mean, nothing's perfect. So it's still a good movie, or whatever, however you look at it. It's an enjoyable movie, is what I'm going to say. So they're fighting everybody, and then they finally get to the big ball of metal.
Yeah,
and they're still being chased, but they're hoping to find Kal-El. And what do they find when they finally get inside this cylinder?
They find a tiny little girl.
Yeah, they do. They find a tiny little girl or woman. We don't want to offend people.
Well, yes. I mean, she's an adult, but she's
but still
not what they were expecting.
She's a tiny, skinny girl. And there's something I wanted to ask you here. And it didn't seem like there was any... I found it unusual that there was no kryptonite to keep her weak. That was just
you and me both.
Just her lack of sunshine, because how they restrained her for her powers to drain in that darkness, because if they just throw her in there, she'd just break out of it, because it's like she won't lose her power like in 3 seconds being thrown into the dark like that. So
the only thing I can think of is they impregnated that steel with the kryptonite. That's the only way I can think that they did it. They just didn't inform the audience.
I was weird there for a second. That's true.
What?
We said impregnated. I think they'll say impregnated the girl.
That's the well, no, impregnated is the correct terminology.
I know that, but I know I'm just teasing you. So you're right, but I'm just thinking that I thought there'd be some kind of green glow, but it's like it just took her not having any sunshine. But then again, that says picking this apart again. We don't really need to be doing that. But and so here's the thing. Here's the really. So they're getting attacked again, and they find out that it's a woman, girl, and it's not Kal-El, because Kal-El, of course, is a man because he's Superman. So they're going to leave, and they're all going to leave. And at first, they're just going to leave her there, right? They were going to leave her there, and then the older brother went and got her, and they go, "Why are you getting her?" Because she needs help. And they look at him like he's strange, but then
he's just doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
Yeah, he just goes and gets her.
I don't think at this point in our older Barry's future, he has met Supergirl.
No, but still. Well, that's interesting because he grabs the suit.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
So I'm trying to figure out. But you may be right. I don't know. Well, there hasn't been a Supergirl.
I remember him grabbing. No, and I remember him grabbing the suit, but I don't think it was that.
Well, this is the movies. Who knows? Okay, I know what you're saying now, but this is the movie, so who knows if this Flash has met the Supergirl yet? We know that the CW Superman has. I mean, gosh darn it, Flash has.
Well, no. I'm not talking about the television show. I'm talking movie-wise, and the fact that when Barry is saying he needs to get the team together, and he lives off everybody, he would have said her as well.
Yeah,
so that's why he didn't. He hadn't met them yet.
No. The thing is, too, is that he didn't recognize the S on her suit, though.
I do find that kind of weird.
I mean, the suit looks almost exactly like Superman's, except it's smaller, of course, but it still has the S in the cape. And so it's like at this point, he would think, at this point, wouldn't you think she's Kryptonian if she has this suit already? Or didn't he recognize it in
I
all
would
the
think so.
confusion? Maybe he didn't recognize it in all the confusion. But still, anyway, I don't know. Anyway, they leave and they're carrying this woman around because she's weak, and they have to fight their way out and carry her around. Oh, geez. And they were doing well
But
until. Go ahead.
but I was going to say, and it's fast forwarding a little bit, and I can't remember if it's after she tells him that she was sent to protect Kal-El because he was, shipped when he was a baby.
Yeah, this is not until we get to the mansion.
Yeah, because I was going to say at that point he says, "Go sit her in the sun."
Because right now she's unconscious still. So, and they're fighting out, and Batman takes a lot of gunfire. I mean, this suit doesn't seem to have the resistance of a Christian Bale suit, or now the Batman suit, where they can take the gunfire. I mean, it seems like he can actually get kind of wounded through this suit, his bat suit, but he does use it to protect them from the bullets, right? Which is odd. He will protect them, but leave the girl behind. Trying to figure out why, but it doesn't matter.
And that's not in any of their characters, though.
No, it's not. Well, maybe Ben, because he can be a dick, but
well, the actor maybe, but the character he portrays wasn't, right, because he wasn't there to begin with.
Right, because Batman would help the helpless, right? He would just, that's what. But anyway, that's what he's supposed to do.
So it's either going to be Bruce Wayne or the Batman, but they're all the same person with the same character.
Thanks for the like.
So they're all going to protect.
So Roger gave us a like. He's the man.
I'm surprised.
He's the man.
He's probably like, shut up and stop over talking each other.
Well, then it wouldn't be a normal show. Fans would complain. Our heads didn't hurt. You didn't talk over. You talked regularly. But then younger Barry gets shot in the leg. When he was trying to do his own protection, he didn't think about not being bulletproof. So he got himself shot in the leg. So he was wounded and limping around. And because when they met that guy and he's eating that sandwich, and he was like kind of stared each other down, like some kind of Western, like who's going to draw first?
Yeah.
And so they were all chasing another, running through the thing, and they find, what would that be? A lift, kind of an elevator that they got to, and that's where Batman put those charges to make it shoot up like a rocket.
Yeah, I always kind of thought it was like a construction lift.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, elevator, lift, kind of something.
Yeah, lift. And so, I mean, what did you think about all of this? I mean, about him being shot and all that stuff. Was that kind of suspenseful to you? Do you have any thoughts on all of this process of them carrying the woman around and trying to escape?
I just think it was a little time consuming. It's like, okay, come on, let's get to more stuff with it. Yeah. They seem to have added more like suspenseful things to make us like, hang on, okay, are they going to get out of there? Who's going to happen to what? Yeah,
you're right, because it was kind of time. Especially when they go stare at each other at this one guy. I mean, it took that. It seemed like a long time. Maybe not time-wise, but just thinking, okay, we get the idea. It would have been better if
it was probably only about 7 seconds.
But it seemed to drag, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because what's the point of this? So,
like I said, it seemed like there was a lot of unnecessary fillers.
Yeah, they probably could have done better. Yeah, it would have been better if that guy would have saw him and just ran off instead of trying to shoot him and stuff. But There's three of them and only one of him, but he decided he's going to take them on. And then, but we get to the lift, the construction lift, as you would said, and he puts, what did he put in there? Charges from his suit?
I believe so. Yeah, from the belt.
Yeah, not a C4 in his belt, so whatever he used.
Don't blow off anything important.
Yeah. So they're chasing him, and they get to the lift. They go up. He finally, everything. The timer goes off, and they shoot up. Now when they go through this, when they shoot up and they go through the top, the lid, right? Because that just flies off. And I kept thinking that they were taller than the handrails when they went up. If I
never noticed that.
And I'm thinking, well, that's what I thought. I thought that the rails, maybe I'm wrong about it, but I thought that the rails were shorter, and that when they went up like that, they would hit it with their heads. So nobody bent down. But maybe I'm not seeing it right. But it just seemed to me that the rail, unless the one in the back was taller and could brace and could do the job. I'm just talking about the side rails. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
And plus, if it's a lift, you'd think it'd be all enclosed anyway, because I guess they don't care about safety in Russia. They don't have an OSHA over there, so they don't have to worry about.
Well, here's the thing: if you're talking about actual centrifugal force, going up with that speed would actually make them shorter, not taller.
Well, I know what you mean, but still, the handles were shorter. They weren't where you wouldn't go that short. You still have your head sticking up when you went through it.
True.
It doesn't matter. They made it through. They're on top. They're finally out. Well, not out. Well, they're out of the prison and they're outdoors. And the guards are still chasing them. And they try to fight the guards, and then eventually the guards capture them. And they ask Batman, what do they do now? And what does he say, Liz?
I don't remember.
We try not to die.
Oh, that, yes.
And then the girl is in further down, and then you watch the sun. There's a shadow, and then you watch the sun move, and the sun hits the girl, and you see her. Then she starts moving around. Her hand comes up, and looks like the three amigos are about to get hit, and then next thing you know, they start shooting, and they're shooting at her because she's up in the air. The sun has revitalized.
Like all of a sudden she's up.
Yep, the sun has revitalized her. Now, here's something I read is that they had to cut back. When she's flying around beating the crap out of these people, and the guards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They had to cut back on that, or they would get an R rating.
Why?
Because that's how bad it was. That's how it was. What did they say? It was the leader of the boys TV series.
I mean, Eric Kripke?
No. Yeah, that series, The Boys from.
Yeah, The Boys.
Yeah, but the leader of the superhero group. Oh, I'm talking about the superhero movie, The Boys. Can't remember his name. The series on Primetime called The Boys.
You mean Jensen's character?
No.
Because there's multiple different ones.
Okay, what series are you talking about?
I'm talking The Boys on Prime.
Right, but I'm talking about the guy with the shiny hair.
Oh,
See,
I can picture him perfectly. I can't think of his name.
see, but they said it'd be too much like him going berserk, tearing heads off and all kinds of gross things going on, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but they cut back on the actual visual. I wouldn't say violence per se, but the visuals of it. You can still be extremely violent and not have all the blood and guts.
All I
And the
know is
boys
that
do more blood and guts.
they had the cut back that was going to get for the R rating. Homelander, there we go. Yeah,
Yeah, Homelander, thank you.
there'd be too much like Homelander when he, gets all bloody and stuff. But well, everybody gets bloody in that thing anyway. I don't know why they would single him out, but I guess he's the most
Yeah.
one. But still, that's what I read. That they, even though what you see, I know is violent, but they said it was even worse, and they were trying to avoid an R rating. So,
And they were trying to avoid an R rating just because of Supergirl, or just in general.
well, they want to keep their PG-13 rating, so for a bigger audience. Even though it seems like everybody clamors for R-rated movies, superhero movies, but they wanted to keep it within that PG-13 range. They didn't want the R-rated rating. So that's what I read, that they had edited it down to avoid because I guess she, like I said, went Homelander on them. That's what I'll say. And one of the key visuals that once they're done and she's up in the air and you see the three and the Superman, what are you saying Superman for? Batman and the two Flashes are standing there looking at Supergirl, and the plane comes up. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
The plane just comes right up, and it, like it was supposed to, and it like on cue. Well, Batman controls it.
It was on cue. They filmed it that way.
Yeah, they did. They said action.
I'm sorry.
They said action, and it went up. Or they got the pose. They said,
I had to be a smart ass on it.
Yeah, I know. When they got the pose, they said, okay, put the plane here and have it go up. Okay, I'll do that. So, yeah. And then she collapsed. Oh, she landed, and then she collapsed on the ground. Probably
she'd used up all her energy.
Yeah, she did. So she collapsed, and then the next thing you know, they're back at the Wayne Manor.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on a table for some reason, but she's laying on a table. And
well, do you see any beds made in the mansion?
I don't know. We didn't go upstairs to look. We just know that they're not. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you weren't interested in seeing Bruce's bedroom?
Well, we saw it we saw the one with Christian Bale. We saw his bedroom.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if Michael Keaton's be much different. Well, right now it'd probably be as ramshackle as the rest of the mansion that he has that thing in. So can you remember what the two berries were talking about before she woke up? They were discussing something. I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember.
I can't either because all I remember is go put her, when the older Barry says, go put her in the sun. And at that point, then she starts to explain why she's there versus Kal-El.
Right.
And what happened.
Well, yeah. She wakes up and she asks them why they saved her. Is that when or did she ask that later on when she got the sunshine?
I think all that becomes a blur as to timeline.
She wakes up and they take her out to the sunshine. And that's when we finally realized what he grabbed was the suit, the Supergirl suit.
Right. And I think at that point he's also explaining not only why they saved her, but then also why they were originally there was to get Superman, because at that point Zod was approaching.
Yeah, because
and that's why.
Yeah. And that's when we find out she was there to protect Kal-El, but they got separated. And so they get on the roof. She gets the suit on. She has a suit on. And then they're up there, and then I think the younger Barry asks, "You think it's helping?" And then she starts flying off, and then she lifts up again, and then she's flying. And I think she comes down and talks to them more. I think that's when she asks them about why they, trying to figure out what they were doing, why they were saving her, and I think, and probably told them about Kal-El, but telling that that she's the Kryptonian.
Yeah.
Oh, then she flies off.
No, what?
Because because they tell her Zod. Oh, she finds out Zod's there too, right? They say, "Oh, Zod. Oh, Zod's here."
Right.
And she
Yeah.
freaks. That's what freaks her out, because Zod. She knows Zod's not a good guy.
Oh yeah.
So I think she sees the sun and she flies off, and she goes and checks it out. What's going on.
And I think at that point she gets told that Zod had killed Kal-El.
Not yet.
It wasn't when she confronted him?
No. He was trying to lure her in, trying, say, "Hey, you're Kryptonian." He's like Kara. Well, she told him her name was Kara, right? Her name was Kara. And
Correct.
Kara. And then he's like, "Kara," and she's seeing all the violence she's seeing all the violence that he's doing to the humans. And so she leaves and goes back to the mansion. So, well, not yet, because in the meantime they're trying to give older Barry his powers back.
Right. And and that's when the younger Barry realizes what's really happening.
Yeah,
about
because
his mother.
Well, he overhears Bruce and the older Barry talking too. He's telling him, they're sharing these stories. Well, I lost my parents too. I lost my mom, and you lost your parents, and I'm sorry about that. And they have this bro moment. Or in Supernatural.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Go ahead.
Barry told Bruce that the night before in the intercom, because he knew that Bruce was watching him, and he's like, "Hey, I already know. I'm sorry for your parents." So he had already said sorry, like the day before.
Well, anyway, I guess I'm fast forwarding real quick. He's telling Bruce about losing his mom, and then we find out that the younger Barry is down underneath, and you can hear him talking, and he's holding the teddy bear. So
right,
because it's a Batman bro moment, or a BM moment. They would call it in Supernatural. So
yeah, oh God, no.
So they're gonna. I guess he's explaining to Bruce how he has the chemicals. He's figured out how to do this. He can. Everything. He knows how to. Theoretically, give himself the powers back. Right. I mean, it's what the whole thing. So
right. And they keep telling him, "You don't have your powers anymore. This will kill you."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's still so they're going to try it anyway.
So they do all the voltage and everything.
Yeah.
That Bruce has, but then they burn it out.
Luckily, that there was a storm coming, so they could tap into that real quick. Thunderstorm.
True, but they wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Kara, because she took him up.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves now. He's in the chair waiting for the lightning. Okay, and here we have what we have here is a Frankenstein moment where Keaton is Dr. Frankenstein and Olderberry is the monster waiting for his lightning to bring him back to life. That doesn't work. And so he gets all this lightning, and it burns him to heck, right? And then he wants to get hit again, but the machine's dead, right, Liz?
Yeah, and he keeps begging, no, do it again, and the juice is all gone with it.
Yeah.
He burned the whole thing out.
So I guess he's done for. No more powers. What can you do about it? Can't get hit by lightning anymore. Or can he?
You can't carry around.
Yeah. So she grabs him from the chair and takes him up to the sky.
Like a rag doll.
Yep. So that's the wrong one. Where is it? Thought I had it. It doesn't matter. But he holds her up. There's big lightning right in the middle of the storm. I mean, they're up in the clouds. And of course she can take the hit, but he's waiting for, you know what I mean? So it's like this big lightning thing. And so did you like that moment when she flew up there? And there we go. That's what I was looking
Yeah,
for.
there it is.
Where, boom, and, she's just up there and he's getting, and this is not just one lightning strike. I mean, this is a combination of a lot of, one big hit.
Yeah.
So that's like your ultimate, she's lifting him up to the lightning storm, as when Dr. Frankenstein lifted the monster up into the tower of his lab to get hit by lightning to bring him back to life.
Yeah. I actually think they wrote it that way, as to pay homage to the original Frankenstein.
But if not, I recognized it anyway. It made it my own.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, they bring him. They think he's dead. They think Olderberry's dead. And then, of course, he starts sparkling. He's back to life.
He starts sparkling. You mean he's Robert Patterson?
Yes, he is. He's a former.
Sorry.
He is. He's Frankenstein, so I guess he didn't sparkle. But he had the lightning go through him, and you can see the energy working, and and as far as he's alive. We don't know if he has powers yet, but he's alive.
True. It's alive.
Oh, so, but he's not really. I mean, he still has to heal a little bit because he has all these burns on him. I mean, he's burned up.
Yeah.
So,
but I like how they did the healing. It just, it was kind of cool to watch it all absorb.
Yeah.
Reverse filming.
Right. In the meantime, younger Flash is making a costume for himself out of a Batman uniform.
Yeah. But he sliced off the Batman ear.
Well, you have to.
But I like the ears.
Well, he's not Flash Bat.
I was going to say, but I like the Umox with the ears.
Yeah. Well, this Flash doesn't have any of anything sticking out of his head. It's just so he paints it. He paints the bat suit red and gets this yellow tape around him and puts the bat symbol of the Flash symbol over the bat symbol. You can tell it's a real homemade number.
Well, Halloween was a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, okay. Oh, going real way back. He had to show younger Flash how to use the ring to get the suit. on.
Yes, but it squishes in spots. So he made it more
yeah.
flexible.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's kind of tight around the dick.
Well, that's what he said with this one. He made it more flexible.
Yeah, I made it more. Yeah, it's
A,
a little bit,
a,
a little bit more looser.
a, yeah, a scooch more room.
Yeah, scooch more room, and so it's
Now I'm
not
sure you're
big.
old enough to remember where that came from.
Yeah, so it. So he makes himself. Yeah, he makes a more comfortable suit in the private regions. Because they're getting ready to go take on Zod. Anything else that we're missing here? When does older Barry talk about not being able to save the boy's father? Is that before all this stuff? You know, he's talking. He's
I
explaining.
think it's. I think it's after. You mean in the end when he realizes everything was done and he couldn't save him?
Yeah, he couldn't see. He was. You know, he was.
Yeah, because that was after when they were trapped in the Speed Force and he realizes who it was in the Speed Force that bubble that pushed him out.
Right.
When he realizes finally, when he comes to that realization.
True. But you know, when Zod attacked in the older Flash's time, they destroying Gotham, or Central City or whatever. This everything was collapsing, and he couldn't save the boy and the father were trying to get out, but he can only had time.
Oh, that boy and father. Okay.
Yeah, and then
I thought you were talking about Barry's father.
No, I'm sorry. That's my bad. We haven't even mentioned Barry's father yet, being in prison and being framed for not being framed, but being accused of killing his mother, and they couldn't prove that. Go ahead.
Well, that's kind of the second reason that he wanted to go back in time, and especially when he knew what day it was when he asked young Barry, "What day is it?" was another reason because he knew that was the same day that Zod had attacked, and he knew that was also the same day he had gotten his powers, but he wasn't able to save the father. He was only able to save the boy.
Right, that's what I mean. And he's still wearing. And he's wearing his first edition of the uniform. You know, with the little mask and stuff. It is weird, you know, like his first attempt, like to do that because, you know, we didn't talk about the part where his dad went to the store and to get that can of tomato sauce, and it's supposed to be what color? Red, the red label or the green label?
I think it was the green label.
Yeah, the green label, because she had forgotten it. And then he comes home and sees stuff on the floor, and Barry's holding his mom that had been stabbed, maybe, and she's dying.
Oh, it was definitely stabbed. Yeah, it was definitely a stab. It was a knife right through the chest.
So that and then he's telling Barry,
was how which I was saying was how his father was originally arrested for it, because his father had his hand and fingerprints around that knife because he was holding his wife when she died in the original.
Yeah, that's all nice and tidy in a bad way. But yeah, and he's telling Barry to call 911 or go whatever he was supposed to do. Right? Was Barry supposed to call 911 or get someone to call 911?
I always assumed it was supposed to be Barry, but it was all so much of a shock all the way across the board.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
And Barry just freaked out and just ran completely out of the house.
Yeah. And we find out that the footage in the store, that the man that supposedly is his father doesn't look up in the camera, so they can't prove that it was him getting the tomato soup sauce, right?
Because the tomatoes were down on the lower shelf and he wasn't looking up.
Yeah, it's like, well, why would I? It's down here. So
Yeah.
So that's why he was putting. So when he goes back and he puts the sauce in the cart on this first attempt, they would have the sauce. His mom would live because he didn't have to go back to the store and get the sauce, right? He'd already be home. So
The tomatoes, correct? Yes.
And that's why we're in this mess we are in right now.
Yep.
So Batman was right. Not yeah. The Ben Affleck Batman was right. You can't go mess it. There's no way around it, But Barry thought he could do it. So they're going off. Well, doesn't Supergirl have a heart with Bruce a little bit, or don't they even talk that much?
I don't think they really talk that much.
Because she's mostly talking.
I mean, certainly not a deep heart to heart.
No, they're probably doing. She's mostly talking to the berries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also more along their age group, and I think she's a little bit more understanding of what the older Barry is going through, because it was her responsibility to look after Kal-El when they left. She was about their same age.
Well, plus Barry saved her.
True.
I mean, Bruce was going. This for some reason Michael Keaton was going to leave her there, and she's probably like, "Well, screw him." I don't know who.
Yeah, and like I said, that's so out of character.
This old man was going to leave me there. I can. He doesn't know I can just toss him into the sun without even thinking about it. But yeah, that was, and I guess.
But I think possibly that might have. Looking back on it now, I think possibly that might have had to do with the fact of how much that Bruce had gone through and that Batman had gone through and lost.
Yeah.
Because even after he was Batman, he went through a lot of tragic losses.
Right. But
does he really want to even involve himself with anything anymore?
Well, the reason he quit being Batman was that Gotham didn't need him anymore. For some reason, Gotham became the safest city in the world, or the country, or whatever he said. Yeah, and so they didn't need him anymore, and that's why he quit being Batman. But it still wouldn't make him callous. And we don't know what happens. We don't find out what happens to Alfred. So yeah,
and it seems to me there was a lot more deeper darkness, even though it may have been the safest city in the world. How did it get that way? We don't hear anything about the commissioner. We don't hear anything about Barbara Gordon. We don't hear anything about Robin. So
that's true. Well, he didn't have a Robin, so we don't have to worry about that. He didn't have this. Michael Keaton didn't have a Robin yet. True. And that's one thing I wanted to say also, that there was no, when they were in the Speed Force, there was no version of a Robin either.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, you would think if they were going to show an Adams Batman, they would show Burt Ward as Robin, standing right next to him, or whatever.
Yeah, they should have.
Or them climbing a wall. Or having their backs to each other and just, with Robin using them as a springboard or whatever. But you know what I mean? Yeah. There was I didn't see a Robin anywhere. Not even a Batgirl. Silverstone with her.
Silverstone. Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, with her tight costume that she wore. She didn't have any room to breathe in that thing either, did she?
No, although Catwoman was mentioned.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
True. So they take off in. Well, they're leaving, right? He heals up and he's ready to go, and when he was laying there, half dead, young. I guess you call it a touching moment where young Barry gave older Barry back the ring with the uniform in it.
Yeah, because you're going to need this.
Yeah. And plus earlier,
I like how older Barry said, "I miss this."
yeah, I missed. And then, eventually, we already knew, but older Barry is going to tell, younger Barry goes, "Yeah, I know your mom died. I figured that out." And as this time is progressing, giving the ring back, this younger Barry is starting to mature a little bit throughout this whole process. Him making his own costume, giving the ring back. Because he's not laughing that much anymore. With that annoying laugh, he's stopped. That's completely gone now, and he's not jumping around like some giddy teenager either. Because now he knows how serious it is, since he found out that Zod would kill billions and not just millions of people from Supergirl. So he is
more
starting
like he'd wipe out the planet.
So young Barry is starting to get his hero on. Wouldn't you agree, Liz?
Oh, definitely. I don't know if you heard me before when I said more like he'd wipe out the planet completely.
Well, yeah, he's terraforming it, so yeah. Well, he wouldn't wipe it out, but it wouldn't be inhabitable. Do they need to have that atmosphere for Kryptonians? Because wouldn't you think you'd want to stay on that, stay where you're at and have all those powers, or would they still have the sun around?
Well, they still have the sun, which is giving them plenty of power.
Well, I didn't know if there'd be a different atmosphere where it would block more of the sun's rays and not keep them from doing whatever. But the thing is, Zod would terraform Earth and then move on to other planets. If they're, I mean, he wouldn't be happy with just making one. It seems like he'd want to conquer a universe, if you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean, and I don't even know why you would think
that way. I shouldn't have put it that way.
No,
but sometimes I don't know.
Okay. It's like I'm not.
Sometimes I confuse myself, and I'm just trying to figure out if I'm making sense.
I never make sense, so we're fine.
And so that was. They're getting ready. I guess we just go there in the plane, and the only thing is that I guess the only other fan moment that there was that when young Bruce saw Supergirl fly next to the plane. He's filming it on the camera.
I know. I thought that was funny.
He's going, "It's for our grandkids. To tell our kids." That we trying to make an excuse of why he was doing that while they're flying in the bat plane to get to where Zod is to attack him. And I thought that was a good enough excuse, him flying around. I guess you would if you were still 18 and you saw Supergirl flying like that. You would, because as far as they know, there's nobody else that flies around because there's no Superman, so it's all new to him. To where the other older Flash is old school, right?
Yeah. I still would be a pretty powerful sight, even though these guys are all your buddies, kind of.
Right. And this is. So they get to where Zod is, and they're starting to fight everybody. And Batman's going to supply air support. And they're attacking Supergirl because they don't know Supergirl's on their side yet. The Americans, or the whatever you want to call them, the Earthlings. Anything stand out here for you, Liz, in this whole sequence of events?
No, not really. It was just kind of, okay, So everybody's firing at Supergirl simply because they don't know Supergirl. They might possibly have recognized, Batman and stuff like that, but it was just, let's hurry up to get to the next, section of what's going to happen. Okay. Oh, she is on our side. Great. We'll all fight together. Now what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Or did I make that too simple?
No, that's fine. So we get to, so anyway, Flash and Flash are trying to, figure out how to beat Zod's army, his minions. Because they know they can't kill him, but they got to find a way to stop him or slow him down. And Supergirl, this is when Supergirl confronts Zod. And, they're talking. And this is where Zod tells Kara about, well, the infant came, we intercepted the infant, but the infant didn't have, remember, the whole blood thing again. That's in Man of Steel.
Yeah, true. But then is that where we find out it's Kara that has the blood we need, not Kal-El?
Right. I didn't get that far yet, but yes. But so go ahead, Liz. I mean, you tell this one if you remember.
No. Go ahead. That's fine.
No, it's just that she confronts him and going, what happened to her? Because they intercepted it, but he wasn't the one with the blood. And she goes, well, what did you do? What happened to Kal-El? What happened? And Zod finally says the baby passed away or didn't make it, right? So this
Correct.
is where Supergirl gets all pissed off. There she goes.
Yep.
And
I just didn't want to leapfrog to ahead like I've been doing and not being quite in line with the story.
Not only have we confused ourselves, we've confused anybody else that's listening. So but I think we kind of know where we're at. But there's really important moments of this battle. I mean, Supergirl and Batman, or Supergirl trying to figure out what's happened to her cousin, and she finds out, and then then she attacks him with the eyes a lot of times, with the laser eyes, and they're battling and battling and battling. And let's see, Batman tries to take out one of his carriers, and it hits him. And then his ejection stuff is stuck, right, Liz? And he
Correct.
So is he's the first one to die then, right?
He's the first one to die, and then that makes it all okay. Everyone then kind of dies in a domino effect. That's when Barry is like, the younger Barry, no, let's see if we can reverse this. If the older Barry reverses it the first time, let's reverse this whole thing, make it correct, see if we can get it correct again.
Well, because he can't get out, so he says, I'm going to take them with me. So he crashes the bat plane, kills himself, kamikaze style. And then eventually Zod, we think Supergirl's going to beat Zod, but Zod stabs her in the back with his little knifey thing that pops out. His single Wolverine claw that comes out of his wrist. It's not a claw, it's a...
God, I was thinking the same thing.
And so she's on the ground, and they bring him the contraption that's going to drain her blood so they can start making Kryptonians. So at this point, it's a lost cause. Everybody's dying.
Yep.
And young Barry wants to reverse time, and older Barry goes, I don't think you're strong enough yet. Or fast
watch
enough.
Me.
Yep, and then he takes off. And they all go into the speed, and they're in the speed force.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. And
And
they
I
hold
think they
on.
came out, what, 2 or 3 times, and they still keep trying to go back because nothing really ever changes. Everybody still
Yeah,
dies.
right. That's a long story short. They just try it several times. Well, that's what I was going to say. Long story short, they do it several times, can't get any results. Older Barry says it's a fixed time, it's a fixed moment in time, or whatever they called it. Where one of because the Bruce Wayne explained that some of these spaghetti noodles overlap, and that's a fixed time because
Right.
they're fixed.
And
And
and even Batman says at the end, because Barry asked him, I can't save it. Can I? Can't save you. He's like, no. And he pretty much alludes to my death is a fixed moment in time for
yeah,
that planet, at least.
yeah, his death is a fixed moment. They could because they both him and Supergirl kept dying, so they both probably had a fixed moment. It seemed like I don't know, couldn't save either one of them. But the young Robin, here we go. Batman, I don't know what the heck I'm doing right now. I'm clueless. But the young Barry keeps going back and forth, and the older Barry, we can't change it. And he wouldn't listen. So we see as time goes on, every time he tries something, he gains a weapon here, or something becomes a weapon because he gets stabbed in the arm or something, and uses it as some kind of knife or swordy thing to stab people with. Oh, we got to remember young Barry got cut in the face, which gives him a
Correct.
scar, or makes him half a Joker. So,
And I think at that point is when the older Barry, when they're in the Speed Force, starts to recognize, wait a minute, I know you. I know that scar.
yeah, when they yep. And and this is and as this keeps going on, all these different worlds start to collide. So that's when they start going around with the camera and showing all the different worlds with all the different the different types of superheroes or people.
Right. And there was also one scene where you show the different worlds colliding.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool things in these when we get to see the worlds and they start going around. Anyone that hasn't watched the movie, I think I missed a comment here. Oh, don't forget we have a program event at 6 p.m. What time is it? Oh, we only got a half hour.
5:33, and I need to be on that program. Well, at least not on it co-hosting, but I want to watch it.
Anyway, real quick, they saved the world. Thank you, Roger. I didn't realize that. It's a fixed time. We need to get out of here. So
Yeah.
real quick, what did they just were able to set the timeline right? Well, we have to. Okay, anyway, real quick, they fix it. The older Barry goes back. His dad, they were able to hands the footage in the store. He looks up, they see his face. He walks out. He's talking to Bruce Wayne. It's not. He can all of a sudden hit the door opens. The crowd starts. What?
Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. You don't need to go that fast. I know you're trying to get us out of here, but we can take 10 minutes. Okay. So he wants to correct the timeline. So first of all, he needs to, while he's still in the Speed Force, goes back to his mother. He knows he's got to let his mother die. And that was the whole reason that the other Barry, who was in the Time Force, was insisting on correcting it. Was, no, you're not going to make our mother die. You're not going to kill our mother.
Right.
He goes back. He takes out that can of tomatoes, puts it back on the shelf, gives his mother a quick hug and everything, because she's like, you remind me of someone. And I know your mother would love you no matter what. Then he goes back into the timeline where he and the other Barry fight, and he winds up killing him. Gets thrown back out of the timeline. What looks completely fine, looks like it's our timeline. And of course, who is he goofing around with at evening? but with Barry. I mean, not Barry, but with Arthur. And of course, as usual, Arthur is roaring drunk. You
Okay.
know, so he's telling him this whole thing. Arthur passes out in the middle of a puddle where he's home. The next thing you see is he's back in the courtroom, and they have the Bruce that we know have sent him a clip saying, "I think we finally found the answer to your father." He goes through all this video footage, and the next thing we see is him in court with a hearing for his father, which was the last hearing that they had done bills for. And
Plus he was
you
late for
see
court.
his face, and he looks up. Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks up, and you can see the face at the same timeline as when his mother was killed. His father was getting the tomatoes, and that had shifted to now the tomatoes are up on the top shelf, not the bottom.
Right.
So they're all celebrating in the whole bit, and he gets a phone call from Bruce, and Bruce is congratulating him, and hey, you know, I'm glad, you know, the clip that I sent you helped and everything. And he's talking to him. He's like, okay, I'll see you in a second. I'm pulling up. And this gorgeous car pulls up, door opens, and you start to see someone step out, and then you look up, and you want to take it from there?
Well, the crowd parts, and out walks George Clooney, the Batman,
Oh, yeah.
the Clooney
Who are
Batman.
you?
It was more than that. He goes, he says, "Who the fuck are you?" You know.
Oh, I was
You
being
can have-
nice
you
and
can have
polite.
you can have one or two F words in a PG-13. So,
Yeah.
and that was the perfect thing because he's running. Because now he knows 3 Batmans, and now he knows, even though what he did with just moving the position of the cans changed another Batman. He's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You
So I
can't
don't
mess
know.
with the
So
timeline.
hopefully
It will
he'll like
never be
this.
correct.
Yeah, hopefully he'll like this version of Batman and his nipple suit. So we'll find out. Well, maybe he made Flash a nipple suit. We'll see.
I don't know. But anyways,
But
I think we can wrap it from there.
Yeah, but that was pretty cool how it ended. They got George Clooney in there real quick. So, okay, well that's how it ended, kinda.
Alrighty.
There's more stuff during the credits, which you can watch if you want to. But
Oh, yeah.
we need to go. Roger has a program coming up. Liz wants to be there as well. So we shall see you next week. Well, I think we're doing Christmas with the Cranks, I believe.
I'm so excited.
We're going to start doing some Christmas films since it's December. So
And we're going to
anyway,
make Richard sing.
no. Everyone have a good week. Catch other NDB media programs and catch us next Sunday at 6. I'm Richard. She's Liz. You have a good evening and good week, like I said. See you later. Any last words, Liz?
Nope, other than see you later and enjoy this wonderful last 3 weeks before Christmas.
Oh, yeah, get your Christmas shopping done.
Exactly.